The Building Brands podcast is dedicated to exploring the journeys of industry leaders who have successfully built a brand. Join me, Robert Royer, president of Building Brands Marketing, and an entrepreneur who has successfully scaled multiple brands as we dive deep into the strategies, challenges, and insights that have shaped the success of industry leaders and provide you with the resources you need to do the same. Building Brands Marketing is a full-service marketing agency specializing in crafting customized marketing strategies for service-based businesses with a creative powerhouse to drive real results. Welcome to the Building Brands Podcast. Welcome to the Legal Leaders series of the Building Brands Podcast. Today, we welcome Scott Frost, owner and attorney with the Frost Law Firm. Welcome, Scott.
Well, thank you, Robert. It's great to be here. I hope that we can give some real value to your audience.
Yeah, so let's do it. You've built a strong reputation in this industry and you're in a highly specialized niche. What inspired you to launch the Frost Law Firm back in 2018?
Well, really what I saw was a need for people to be more client-centric. And I had grown up in large plaintiffs' firms, and I wanted to make sure that our clients were getting individualized care and that their cases were being worked up from beginning to the end properly. And so I wanted to make sure that we were able to provide that concierge service to all of our clients.
Yeah, so talk to me about what kind of led to you niching down into these specialized areas that the firm operates in.
Well, we primarily work in doing mesothelioma cases and asbestos cases. We've done other things and we do other uh, different litigations where people are injured, but our main focus has been in the mesothelioma area. And the real reason that we got into that is because when I got out of the United States Army, I was hired by a large firm that specialized in that. And so I immediately started trying cases because I had a lot of experience doing that and developed a way of doing that very quickly that other firms found out was very effective and allowed us to take their resources and use ours and combine forces and to get great results. And so we've gotten a lot of very large verdicts where we have co-counseled with other firms. And then we've also got the same where we take a case from the very beginning and have worked it up, always with the goal to increase the value to the clients and the referral partners.
Yeah, so I'm curious, Scott, you practice law, or your firm practices law in 12 different states throughout the United States. And you can take cases in those different regional areas throughout the US. From a branding standpoint, how do you brand the firm consistently from region to region across a national basis like that?
Well, the big thing that we do is we're known for being able to try cases and to try them effectively, quickly. And also, the other thing that we're known for is to try them very cost effectively because a lot of folks don't realize that when you have a trial practice, a big part of that is going to be the expenses. And I don't want ever to be in a situation where a client is making decisions based on expenses. So our firm is known for making sure that we not only do things effectively and cheaply, but that we also are cognizant of how we do that. And so we brand our firm as a national trial firm. As you
Hmm.
mentioned, we have tried cases in over 50% of the United States, but we're actually licensed in about 25% of the United States. So we don't have the impediments that other people have going into a different jurisdiction. Our focus, though, is really on representing clients that want to get full value and are willing to go to trial because a lot of folks aren't willing to go to trial to get the full value. And as I'm sure you know from talking to other trial lawyers, the only way you really build value is having the threat of going to trial. And we have that threat nationally. We've tried cases from South Carolina, New York, Chicago, Washington, all the way to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point there. So I know in talking with you leading up to the show, your firm is very heavy in partner referrals. That's been a key growth channel, right?
Absolutely. We rely upon our partnerships with other law firms who will bring us in sometimes at the beginning of cases, and sometimes they may call me up and say, you know what, I got a trial in 2 weeks, and my trial person is on vacation. Can you come in and help us? And we've done both of those and have been very successful handling both types of cases.
And what referral techniques have you used to kind of nurture those relationships over time?
Well, one thing that we've done is we understand that our referral partners are trying to get cases and they need to be able to explain to people right away, hey, I'm going to be bringing in the Frost Law Firm as a trial partner. And a lot of people may be, well, who are those folks? So, what we've done is we've worked extensively on our website and our marketing, particularly our video marketing, so that when a referral partner says, I'm going to bring Frost in on a case, they can have their clients take a look and see exactly who we are and understand why their case is going to be very important to us. And so we've done that to make sure, even though in our area, mesothelioma, I'm sure a lot of people know this is a very expensive area to market. And in all honesty, we can't afford to be spending millions of dollars on marketing. So what we've done is our market is lawyer to lawyer, but also we keep in mind that those lawyers are going to want to be able to point to uh, us and say, hey, here's going to be our partners. And so we've really have done our marketing that way, a little more grassroots than some others.
Yeah, I'm curious. Have you built any like collateral or like a specific landing page on the website or something like that? That's like a partnership kit that hits those highlights of like, hey, our experience, why this, why we're good, reliable partners as a partner referral, a rack card or anything like that. That makes it real simple for them.
You know, we haven't made it exactly simple, to be honest, but what we do have is we have the referral page. We also have a separate page where we have branded themesotheliomalawyer.com, where we put different things so that we can brand different to different folks. The mesothelioma lawyer.com, that is more towards individual clients. And we do get an awful lot of traction with that. But we're not spending the large SEO money or we're not spending all the advertising money on, say, television and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that can get real competitive competing with, other national firms in that space. So, what is your approach to not, outspending the competition and still uh maintaining and possibly gaining a piece of that market share?
Uh, Well, our market right now is particularly since it is lawyer to lawyer, is we've been working on not just the traditional SEO, but working on LinkedIn and
Hmm.
providing value to people because I think that's the big thing is everybody wants to talk about the big verdicts they've gotten and clearly we've gotten those. But what we've tried to do is to help other lawyers not only get better, but understand this practice area. So we rely a lot upon LinkedIn articles where we talk about the practical realities, like how do you handle a settlement negotiation? How do you handle clients that might be difficult? How do you handle being called up at the last minute and said, hey, can you try a case for me in 2 weeks? Most lawyers aren't used to that, particularly when the trial is going to last probably a month.
Yeah,
So, that's what we've done.
interesting. Well, you've definitely put some intentional thought into not just client care, but reputation and really, I would say the care and attention to the referrals that you have coming in to try to maintain that consistent reputation in the industry. I'm curious as you grow because the firm is, let's see, 8 years in now, and obviously it's done well. I can look at the website, see there's quite a few team members. There's been a lot of growth in that time frame. how do you see this strategy evolving into the future, say 10 years from now, where some of those referral pipelines have been kind of soaked up to capacity?
Well, and that's always the problem that you have as someone who relies upon referrals because a referral source can be fickle. They can say, you know what, I want to go with somebody else. There's no allegiance between lawyers, in
Sure.
all honesty. And so, what we try to do is not only build um, those personal relationships, but also to build the relationships with the clients. Because what we find is if we have a happy client, they'll tend to tell all of their other friends. They'll say, hey, if you got a mesothelioma case, these are the people to go to because they're going to
Hmm.
get you the maximum value, and they're also going to care about you. We spend an awful lot of time with our staff, making sure that they are handling appropriately the cases and that they're getting maybe not the answer the client wants, but the correct answer for them. And I think that shows in our Google reviews and other things, which for a firm our size, we have really striven to make sure that we um, appropriately have Google reviews that show exactly what our staff is doing because our staff is the most important piece. And we blended our staff between virtual staff and also people that are in the office. And so, as I think we look forward to the next 10 years, I think we're going to have more and more people that are virtual. And I think that's probably because of lifestyle that a lot of people like that. So that's what we're planning on is probably more virtual people, also more lawyers across more places so we can represent even more um, people.
Yeah, I would suspect you're correct. We dealt with the same dynamic with our firm, and this is not just law firms. This is service-based businesses in general. Our firm is physically officed in Victoria, Texas, about halfway between Houston and Corpus Christi. And uh, after a certain amount of time, you kind of soaked up the majority of people in the industry or the senior level talent in the region, and you have to start kind of hiring remote. And then we find with Gen Z, newer generations, they seem to prefer to work in a more hybrid or remote scenario. So we're kind of in that same bucket right now of now, we have more employees now that are remote than are in office, and those that are in an office are fully hybrid. They kind of come and go. It's kind of becoming the way of the world right now in the workforce. Now, with you in your firm and working all across the United States, that definitely is less of a challenge compared to, say, like a local criminal defense firm that really focuses on one or two counties in their area. Uh,
What we've
now,
also found through this process is that the level of talent that you can get and the amount of money you have to pay them is a lot less.
yeah,
So, we have a lot of people we want to have everybody who is A level talent. But sometimes, particularly in California and some other places, A level talent requires a lot of investment. And what we found is we were able to get A level talent at a cheaper rate, and they're happier because they're not having to deal with LA traffic or other things. So I think that is the way of the world.
you're absolutely right. And there's a whole, cultural crusade that I've been obsessing over of the idea that because you're less restricted of just getting talent in your local proximity, you're able to string together more A teamers and B teamers for that matter, top level performers. And that starts to be a cultural morale shift when you're able to surround more A teamers with more A teamers. They generally do better work, you get better productivity. Where if you're more restricted to geographic proximity, and because you may have to pay a little bit more, you start stringing a couple C teamers in there, just because to try to maintain local proximity, and that can be a whole, it can pull the whole boat down, so to speak. In service based industries, you hit it spot on. It's really the people. The people is the product. Um, and so I'm glad you recognize that and appreciate that, Scott. You've obviously been in some leadership between the military and the army. Thank you for your service as well as your firm. I'm curious. What's the one piece of advice you would give other leaders of service-based entities?
I would say that it all starts with you and that you have to take extreme ownership of your law firm and any issues. And I always tell everybody at trial, you know what? If the judge is yelling at somebody, they need to be yelling at me because I am the one who's overall responsible for everything. And that you'll never have to take a butt chewing from a judge that I'm not willing to stand there and take it myself. So I think that particularly in a service industry where you're trying to make sure you represent clients as best you can, which is what our folks all try to do, you need to make sure that you have ownership of everything within your law firm and not as a micromanager, but something that you didn't know that happened, you're still responsible because you didn't train those people how to properly handle it. So I would say understand that from the beginning and it'll save a lot of heartache.
I love that. That's fantastic advice. Accountability. I agree with you 100%. And I always believe the same mantra. Hey, I wouldn't ask you to do anything that I won't jump in the trenches and do it with you. Uh, or that I wouldn't jump in the trenches and do it with you. I love this. This has been really, really useful information. Scott, where can our viewers and listeners find more about your firm online?
Well, we are at the Frost Law Firm and themezolawyer.com. And my email is scott at frost, F-R-O-S-T, lawfirm.com.
Scott, love it. Love the branding. Thanks for being on today's show. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.